Welcome to a new edition of the Famous Interviews with Joe Dimino. On this episode, we talk with author and founder and CEO of EIDON Liquid Ionic Minerals, Rick Wagner. We caught up with this visionary from his base in San Diego to talk about his new 2025 book, Balance Your Terrain, a guide to optimal health and freedom from disease, and his career in helping people get healthy. He is a certified nutritionist and holds a master's degree from San Diego State University. He regularly counsels clients and has an avid following that attests to his passion and dedication to promoting a healthier, more informed population through education. Known as the Mineral Man, he is well known as the host of Staying Alive and Forever Young radio talk shows that focus on achieving health and wellness naturally. We get into quite a story. Enjoy this interview. I love your story. I love what you're doing. I'm looking forward to getting into the book and your world. That's fascinating. So thank you for taking a minute out.
My pleasure. My pleasure for sure.
So before we get into the book and to your good work, I want to know first and foremost, 5 years ago, this pandemic rocked our foundation, changed so many things for all of us. How did you survive the pandemic of 2020? And how has that radiated either into this book or the work that you're doing today?
Well, quite frankly, I ignored the whole thing. To me, it was a scam. I did not do. This is kind of a fascinating story. I didn't meet anyone during that period that had the flu or had been diagnosed with any kind of COVID. I did know of about 10 to 12 people, though, that died after the vaccine. And they were, it was attributed to cancer or some other baloney. I mean, it was days or hours after they got the vaccine. So it's I look at the COVID as another mutation of the viruses, and we live with these things every day, and the issue is that we have to be focused on maintaining our strength and our immune system to be able to deal with these things that want to, take us down. And the way to do that is to get balanced in your minerals and to eat well. And I can guarantee you that the people that did pass or got the flu were either poorly fed or fed themselves poorly and were malnourished and just, it wasn't a fluke that they got it.
So let's get into exactly what you do for a living. I want to put you in front of a bunch of 12-year-olds. It's career day. One of the kids in the back of the room is curious and is like, hey, what do you do for a living? How do you answer them? I
make liquid mineral supplements. That's my job. I mean, I own the company. It's called EIDON. And what we're trying to do is educate people as to what is so very important that they get in their daily diets and are not. So we make them here, right? And the city we're in is Poway, which is just on the outskirts of San Diego. It's an industrial park we're in, and yet we only work 4 days a week, which is kind of nice. But yes, we make all the minerals. Number one, we do also market a sea salt from Peru, and we make chocolate bars that are sweetened with xylitol, which actually helps your teeth and doesn't make you fat. And we also make mushrooms, medicinal mushrooms, and sell them. Actually, you don't make them. Right now, we're buying them and we're preparing to grow them. So we provide everything that an individual needs to get balanced, because it's the medicinal mushrooms that maintain your healthy gut. And our guts have been destroyed with antibiotics, not only in being given to them by our doctor, but by what they put in food. So anytime you have a pen-raised animal that hasn't been able to roam free and eat, they're going to have antibiotics just to keep from dying. And then it's the same with fish, farm-raised fish. It's really, really bad. They aren't able to be in their natural state. So it kind of goes back down to we need to be obtaining all of our nutrients in a natural, unmodified state. And that is very difficult to do just because of the way we farm.
So let me ask you something, Rick. When you were a kid, when you were 12, what did you want to be when you grew up? What was your dream job?
I didn't have one. I think, you know what? I think I wanted to fly. I wanted to be in the Air Force. And it's funny. I tried to, I could have gotten in at the Air Force Academy when I graduated, but I failed some of the flying tests, so I didn't get in. But I did not have any. I had no interest in basically anything. I mean, actually, I'll take that back. I really loved science. I always had something in the science fair at school, and I had neighbors that were really esteemed scientists, and so I loved science, but that I had no clue as to what that might take me into. And in fact, though, it's kind of funny. I sort of ended up in a scientific type company. It's not. It's basic elemental stuff, though. It's not misto science.
So let me ask you this. How did this happen? Take me back to your childhood. What were the foundational elements that made you either want to fly or eventually get into science? What were some of the seeds that were planted that eventually were harvested and grew into who you became?
It's funny. I don't remember anything even driving me. That was young. I just wanted to, get out and exercise and play and, play games and all that. Only did I start to thinking about, work after high school, and that, I got into college. But even then, I did things when I was a kid. I worked a lot as a kid. I have to say, from mowing lawns to cleaning swimming pools to working in my uncle's hardware store. So, and then I always have worked, and I'm still working, and I'm 80. So I don't plan on stopping soon.
Yeah, for sure. So let me ask you this. Who has been kind of an inspiration for you to become who you are, or a hero in your life? Do you have one?
Um, wow, not really. Um, I I would say, oh God, hmm. Okay, probably anyone. Who was it that really hyped vitamin C? I can't remember his name. Um, anyway, not Jonas. Oh, I can't remember the individual's name, but he was a scientist,
Okay.
and he he made the statement that basically everything is related to a mineral deficiency. He's the one that really hyped vitamin C, and uh, Linus Pauling. Linus Pauling.
Okay.
And he felt that vitamin C was absolutely essential. But what he also said that nobody really published and hyped up was that every disease or every illness is really the result of a mineral deficiency. And I would say he was of anyone, really, I felt that he was on it. He knew what he was talking about. Not many do. And what's so funny too is that one thing that struck me a while back, and that is that we're all, we're all just born into this world and don't necessarily have any skills whatsoever. And the only way we then develop skills is by learning. And then, though, we're dealing with then other people that have learned in a certain fashion, what they tell you and how they do things may or may not actually be correct and accurate. Um, And so I think that whenever someone says anything, we have to be thinking about, does what that person is saying make sense? Not is it, oh, that's what the doctor says, so we got to do it that way. That's not good. We each have to be looking at this thing from our own perspective and following then our how we feel. It's because every one of us is basically the same. I mean, in reality, we are, and so it isn't that someone is, because they've got a degree in something, the know-all of know-alls of that individual topic. And so and I have seen it way too much. So I would say it's Linus Pauling.
So when you look at your career and all the success you've had and everything that's happened, what is the biggest risk that you've taken?
Um, well, I mean, a financial risk or
Probably just overall, just any decision that you've made that affected the course of your career, or your life that was, I mean, being an entrepreneur, being somebody that takes that chance to come up with something like you have has to have some level of risk that's a
um,
part of it. What has that
well,
been for you?
yeah, certainly the company was in a lot of debt when I started out. The and the risk was, could could we actually market this product the product we started with, which is silica. Uh, and it's kind of mind-boggling, but I would say that was the biggest risk I took. Um, I basically converted one company into another company, and it was all focused around developing, making, and marketing silica. Silica is so important as a mineral, and virtually 99% of the population has no clue as to what it really is and how it works. But that would be, I invested, I borrowed a lot of money and invested a lot of money in it, and it paid off.
So what is it that motivates you every day to wake up to continue this work? You've done it for a while. What has been that continual motivation? Do you find an equilibrium between taking care of your own family and your own soul and your business? How have you parlayed that out? What's motivated you?
That's an interesting one. Quite frankly, my entire family works for me. So a part of it is just being with them. I really enjoy it. The other part is I would be so bored working or not working as to be crazy. So I want to be here and interact with everyone and help continue to grow the company. But being home would be really, really boring.
So let me ask you this. If you had a dream tonight, you ran into the 18-year-old version of you, and you could give that young version of you a piece of advice based on this life you've lived, the wisdom you've gained, what advice would you give your younger self?
The advice would be, don't look at school as the do all of end all. When you're at school, what you want to be learning is how to learn. You want to know what it takes to be able to acquire a skill and or to just to get more complete in life. And it's learning to learn. You don't learn. I didn't learn, or I did not, or was not ever able to apply my skills that I learned or the things that I learned in high school or college to work afterwards. I was able to get a job initially, and then I went from there, but I did not carry with me. Early on, I was an industrial engineer. Well, you don't learn industrial engineering in high school or college. You learn on the job, and that's the key. Is you need to be aware in the learning process that what you learn may or may not be true even in 10 years. You need to learn how to learn, and then how to adapt. Those are so important, and you never know what you're going to find and what you may find interesting and want to do more of.
So let's dig into the book, Balance Your Terrain, a guide to optimal health and freedom from disease. Give me an idea of what made you write this book and kind of an overview to get people thirsty for more.
What made me write the book was I had had a lot of experiences, and they all related around minerals. These would be experiences where I cured something or resolved a health issue, and I there really was nothing out there that just focused on balance. And have the experiences that I've had over the last 30 years now have just completely changed my whole focus on life. And I would say I had a number of mineral experiences where minerals actually resolved issues that I was experiencing. The last one, though, was, and that's this revolving around this mineral silica, is the most significant. And that was, I took, I had silver fillings in my mouth for a long, long time. And the silver fillings really are half mercury. Mercury is the second deadliest element on the planet. If you've got amalgam fillings in your mouth, you want to focus on how to get them out. The book does describe how to do that. I had them all removed incorrectly, and it really, really messed me up big time. So I mean, fatigue, loss of memory or lack of memory, it was crazy. What I was, and then I had lost all my hair as a result of the mercury issue. And what I did, I had actually a mortgage company before I went to minerals, and I had a staff member who came to me and said, "You need to take some silica. It might regrow your hair," because it helped regrow my neighbor's daughter's hair. And I was always in for an experiment. I wasn't supplementing with anything at that point. I started to take this stuff. This product was made in Germany. It's called Body Essential Silica Gel, and it's a gel. But one of the things that they said to do was to refrigerate after opening. But basically, what had happened is I started taking this product. But before that, 2 months before, I had gone to the doctor and said, I think I have arthritis. I would like you to exercise, or not exercise, check my neck and see whether or not it is, got calcium buildup on it. And so they did all of the x-rays and all that. And they came back and they said, yes, you do have arthritis. No, then I said, well, given that, what can I do about it? And they can you fix it? So this was 1995. So their response was no. There's no way to correct arthritis. You got it. You got it forever. And I was very, very disappointed, actually. So the two options were take aspirin the rest of your life, or they'll go in and cut it out with a scalpel, scrape it off your bones. Neither was very appealing to me at all, and I did not do any of them for sure. But I started taking the silica, and about 6 weeks into it, I had to go out of town, and I left the silica at home. All this pain that I had been experiencing was all of a sudden, it just came back. So effectively what was happening over the last 6 weeks, and I was just looking for hair, I wasn't looking for any pain issues. The pain quotient went way down, And I came back, and it had come back though when I was on my trip. When I got back to home, I started taking it again, and the pain curve went back down to where it had been after about 2 days. Long story short is taking silica every day for 9 months literally reversed the arthritis in my neck, and I have never had a twinge of it since. That's the real beginning. I had this other experiences with minerals before that, but the silica one was just amazing to me, and that's the other thing that really hit me was, here's Western medicine telling me that there is no cure. They don't even know how you get it, but that there is no cure for something that then I resolved with minerals. Turns out that silica is the second most prevalent element on the Earth's crust after oxygen. And from my perspective, that makes it very, very important. And yet, the National Academy of Sciences. So here's what I'm talking about with people that have education, but then they're not really looking at things. The National Academy of Sciences, based in Washington, has yet to look at either silica or sulfur as an essential mineral nutrient. Why is that?
Yeah.
And so that is really what was the driving force behind me. Yeah, well, as an aside, I did go to the National Academy of Sciences, and I asked to see someone. I just walked in because I didn't know anyone there. Their response to me was at the reception desk, "Well, do you know anyone here?" And I said, "Heck no, I don't know anyone there." And they said, "Well, I'm sorry that we can't help you at all. You got to have an appointment." So I would have had to have known someone that worked there to even get an answer. And that to me was just unacceptable. And yet that's the way it is right now. And they still haven't looked at silica or sulfur. It turns out that silica as an element helps the body maintain its collagen. And collagen basically is this sticky stuff in our bodies that holds every cell together in the right spot. And so it's incredibly important. It's the reason, the lack of collagen is the reason that we are not or that we have and cannot cure osteoporosis. Osteoporosis is not the lack of calcium in the bones. Calcium is what makes the bones brittle, and what makes them strong is the collagen matrix inside the bone, and that is all made using collagen. And the other part of this whole thing is that boiling things down, we have to start looking at the elemental building blocks of life. Not, I see these ads all the time. Oh, get your collagen, with this pill. Well, that collagen substance that they're selling you is just basically ground up cartilage from a cow. And the body has to go down to the elemental components of what it's built with. It can't take you can't take bone and think that it's going to or cartilage or any of those and think that it's going to rebuild your bone. It'll take out of that compound what the minerals are, and then the cells that are responsible will use those minerals to rebuild whatever it needs. But we have to go down to the elemental particles. Looking, in fact, all of these diseases that we're seeing, they're malfunctioning or just painful organs. It's not, but the organs are made out of cells, and the cells are made out of the minerals, and they run by the use of the minerals. If you don't have it, if you got to start at the base, not at the top, and so all they want to do is either remove the organ or replace it, and it's just not the way it should be. We should be able to have access to all of the things that we're built out of. and we should know what's going on. We don't know anywhere near what we should be knowing as far as the minerals and how they really work in the body.
So let me ask you this, Rick, after your all of these years in your career and everything that you've seen and done and accomplished, what are you ultimately the proudest of?
What would I what?
What are you the proudest of?
Um, this phase of my life, for sure. Number one, I know that I have a solution to a lot of pain and problems with people, particularly those that are generated internally. The other thing is that I've got my entire family that I work with and I live around, and we're all in San Diego. That's by far the most the thing that I'm proudest of, for sure, because we're helping so many more people.
For sure. So let me ask you this. Everyone out there, Rick, has a perception of you. Family, friends, colleagues, everyone that gets your book, your products, everyone that knows you, but you run the show. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
Well, I hope I'm generous and kind and somewhat knowledgeable. I have learned a lot, and so I want to be known as someone who is trying to make the world a better place, and I'm on my way. I know what I'm doing is correct.
So if anyone out there wants to pick up your book, the latest book, Balance Your Terrain, or get involved with any of the wonderful Ionic work that you're doing, how do they do that?
Well, certainly you can buy the book at Amazon or Barnes and Noble, and you can buy it at our offices as well. I would highly recommend that people read the website. There's a lot of good research on it, and a lot to back up what we say. We can't say that minerals cure things because the FDA says we can't. Only drugs can do that, which is really, really backwards. Hopefully, with what I've learned and what I've put into a book is going to be recognized and acted upon by the people in this country and the people in the world. We're all the same. Basically, we're human beings, and we need to be focused on what's the best for us, and not necessarily listen to someone who has a degree. Not that I don't have a degree, but it's listen to what I say and then make your own decision.
Wonderful. This has been great. Hey, Rick, thank you so much for your story. Thank you for your time. Best of luck with everything. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Joe. I appreciate the opportunity to be able to communicate with you.
Thanks for tuning in to another famous interview with Joe Dimino, where we cover the world of art, literature, business, spirituality, music, and more from around the globe. Our esteemed theme music was composed and produced by the great E.E. Pointer of Kansas City's River Cow Orchestra. If you want to hear more interviews, visit the Famous Interviews with Joe Dimino channel on YouTube. You can also find us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Thanks again for listening, and until next time. Looking to get new clients to your business through cold calling or email marketing? At Agency Y, they envision a world in which small and big companies have equal chances to win new customers in the market. Their purpose is to bring parity and reduce the gap between large and small firms with the help of their cold calling and cold email marketing services. Use the code JOEDIMINO10 at www.agencyyy.org/coldcallingjoe.php or www.agencyyy.org/emailmarketingjoe.php to get 10% off your first order. This is Joe Dimino of Neon Jazz and Famous Interviews, and I stand behind Agency Y to meet your business dreams.